The Dark Knight isn't just another superhero movie, it's a film that completely changed how people see the genre. It turned a comic book story into a deep, philosophical drama about morality, fear, and the true nature of chaos. Christopher Nolan didn't want to make a movie about a guy in a cape. He wanted to tell the story of a man facing the limits of his own belief in good. His idea was both simple and brilliant, to show that absolute order can't exist without chaos. It's 2008. The world of comic books is exploding. Marvel is building its cinematic universe, but it's DC and Christopher Nolan who bring real depth to the genre. The Dark Knight becomes a turning point, the movie that made people stop seeing superhero films as just teen entertainment. Critics wrote, "Batman is no longer a comic book. It's a tragedy disguised as a blockbuster." Nolan makes a thriller that feels closer to Black Hawk Down than Spider-Man. Nolan aimed for realism, real explosions, real car chases, almost no CGI. He wanted Gotham to feel like an actual city, alive, dirty, and terrifying.
We'll be here all night for this part.
The main idea of the film is the clash between two philosophies, order and chaos. Batman stands for control, the Joker is the complete opposite, and somewhere in between them is Harvey Dent, a man who still believes in justice and the rule of law. This trio is what makes the movie so powerful. There's no pure good or evil here. Every character is just a part of the same system, where every choice creates new consequences. Bruce Wayne is a man who willingly gives up his own identity. He becomes a symbol, and that symbol slowly starts to destroy him. At the beginning, he truly believes Gotham can be cleaned up and that the mask is only temporary. But the longer he fights, the more of himself he loses. His rule, "I don't kill," turns into a chain that traps him, and his image becomes an addiction the city can't live without. Batman isn't just a hero, he's a martyr, a man sacrificing himself for an ideal that's slowly becoming more dangerous than the criminals he's trying to stop.
What have you done with him?
Me?
Why so serious? A meme, a quote, a legend, but behind it lies one of the most terrifying characters in movie history. The Joker doesn't care about power, money, or fame. He just wants to prove one thing, that the world has no rules. He tells Batman, all it takes is one bad day to reduce the sanest man alive to lunacy. Heath Ledger created a character that's still impossible to recreate. Every gesture, every laugh feels insane, but there's method in his madness. His chaos isn't random. It's a philosophy, a way to destroy a system built on the illusion of order and normality. The Joker is Batman's mirror. Both live outside the law. Both wear masks. Both believe the system is rotten. The only difference is that Batman wants to fix the world, and the Joker wants to prove it can't be fixed. Harvey Dent is the symbol of Gotham's hope. People call him the White Knight. He's the first man who can fight crime while staying within the law, a true believer in justice.
It was me.
But when the Joker destroys his world, that belief shatters. The coin that once stood for fairness becomes a tool of fate.
The only morality in a cruel world is chance.
And that's how Two-Face is born, a man whose idealism turns into pure cynicism. His downfall is the film's emotional core. Nolan shows us that evil doesn't come from the outside, it grows from within when faith dies. The Dark Knight works on three different levels. Political, about how people are willing to trade freedom for security. Moral, about the true cost of being a hero. Philosophical, about the nature of good and evil. When Nolan made the film, he drew inspiration from Hobbes and Nietzsche. Batman is a man who took power no one gave him. The Joker is chaos, the force that makes everyone equal. Their conflict raises one haunting question. What's more dangerous, a world without rules or a hero who decides which rules matter? The ferry scene is the heart of the entire movie. The Joker forces people to make an impossible choice, blow up the other ferry or die themselves. But no one presses the button. It's one of the few moments of light in Nolan's dark world. It shows that even in the middle of chaos, there's still room for humanity. But Batman realizes something deeper. To keep people believing in good, someone has to become the villain. The main theme of the film is the cost of being a symbol. Batman becomes an idea, and every idea becomes dangerous once it loses its human side.
I need to be honest and clear.
Bruce Wayne slowly drifts away from his emotions. He doesn't live anymore. He just functions. His whole existence becomes an endless war with no real victory. As Nolan once said, Bruce is a man who tried to save his city and became its prisoner. He understands that to protect Gotham, he must become the thing it hates. Batman turns into the opposite of what he once was, a hero everyone now sees as the villain. And in that moment, Nolan completely shatters the classic superhero archetype.
Because he can take it. Because he's not a hero.
What's interesting is that the Joker isn't really defeated at the end. He's hanging upside down, laughing, and says, "You and I are the same." He proves to Batman that chaos can't be defeated if you're afraid of it. His loss is just an illusion, because he's already won. He broke Harvey Dent's moral core and turned Gotham's symbol of justice into a monster. That's the real point of the film. Evil doesn't always need to be destroyed. Sometimes it just needs to spread. Gotham survived, but it lost its faith. Batman lived, but he lost his purpose. The Joker is Batman's reflection. This theory is super popular on Reddit and YouTube. It suggests that the Joker isn't a separate person at all. He's Bruce Wayne's dark subconscious, his alter ego. Every scene they share mirrors this idea. When Batman interrogates the Joker, he beats him, but the Joker just laughs. When the Joker says, "You've already broken your own rules," he's forcing Batman to face his own hypocrisy.
You have all these rules and you think they'll save you.
Their dynamic shows the film's core philosophy. Order and chaos are two sides of the same coin. If Harvey Dent literally becomes Two-Face, then Batman and the Joker are the symbolic halves of one mind. Harvey Dent survived. Another fan theory claims that Harvey didn't die at the end, that Gordon secretly hid him away to protect Gotham's image. It all comes from that key line: the truth would destroy what we've built if people knew what Dent became. According to this theory, The Dark Knight Rises avoids mentioning Harvey on purpose to keep the legend of the White Knight alive. Christopher Nolan is known for being a perfectionist. He wanted everything in The Dark Knight to feel real. The truck flip? Real. The hospital explosion? Real. Even the IMAX aerial shots were done with practical effects, not CGI.
Obviously. So when the truck flips, for example, we're using only 2 angles. But now, it's more you just really analyze.
During preparation, Heath Ledger completely isolated himself for a month. He lived alone in a hotel room, kept a journal written as the Joker, and practiced the voice, the laugh, the walk, everything. That journal, later shown to fans, was filled with chaotic scribbles like "laugh while the world burns" and cutouts of clowns and crimes. Michael Caine once said he actually got scared on set. "I forgot my lines when Heath walked in. He was genuinely terrifying." After Ledger's tragic death, the movie became more than just a masterpiece. It turned into a memorial to pure acting genius. His posthumous Oscar wasn't just an award. It was a statement that the Joker had transcended fiction. He had become a symbol.
And Heath was just ready to do it.
Town for the next 2 months.
There he is.
Can't miss him.
He did it very, very precisely. I don't know how he resisted looking back. Never looked back. He never betrayed any sense of, worrying about what was behind him. In the school bus, once he's in and sat down, and you see him never look back.
Nolan is a master of visual metaphors. Every scene isn't just about what happens, it's about what it means. The flipped truck? It's a symbol of a world turned upside down, where good and evil have traded places. Harvey's coin? A symbol of the illusion of justice. The burning pile of money? A rejection of capitalism, proof that true evil isn't driven by greed, but by ideology.
Not about money, it's about sending a message.
Even the Joker's musical theme tells a story on its own. Composer Hans Zimmer built it around a single stretched violin note, a sound that feels like it's choking you. It creates this constant sense of tension and madness slowly closing in.
And gets in deep.
The sharks. Hey, one day they carve her face. We have no money for surgeries. She can't take it.
The Dark Knight plays out like a modern Greek tragedy. Batman is a hero doomed to lose, sacrificing himself so that the world can keep going. He saves Gotham, but loses faith in who he is. The Joker, on the other hand, loses the battle, but wins the war of ideas. He proves that even the purest hero can fall when pushed to the edge. As Roger Ebert put it, Nolan's film shows that good doesn't always win. It just manages to survive. Barely. Gotham isn't just a backdrop. It's a reflection of society, always hanging somewhere between fear and hope. Nolan turns the city into a living organism. Its streets are arteries pumping chaos. Its people are cells infected with lies. And its heroes are antibodies fighting an incurable disease. Batman truly believes he can save Gotham, but by the end, he understands. The city doesn't need a hero. It needs a myth, and he becomes that myth himself.
The Dark Knight.
The final scene is more than just an ending. It's the essence of Nolan's entire idea. Batman takes the blame for Harvey's crimes to keep the people's faith in good alive. He becomes an outcast, a villain, the Dark Knight. He's not the hero we deserve, but the one we need. That line captures the film's entire philosophy. A true hero isn't the one people love. It's the one who's willing to bear the burden for everyone else.
Because he's the hero Gotham deserves, but not the one it needs right now. A watchful protector. The Dark Knight.
Nolan ends the story not with victory, but with sacrifice. The hero walks into the darkness, so the light can keep shining for the rest. The Dark Knight completely changed how people see the superhero genre. Before it, superhero movies were just entertainment. After it, they became art. Christopher Nolan proved that you can make a blockbuster with the depth of Hamlet or Crime and Punishment. His influence can be felt everywhere. Joker, 2019 by Todd Phillips, is a direct tribute to Nolan's philosophy. The Batman, 2022 by Matt Reeves, carries his realism and darkness. Even Marvel shifted its tone after The Dark Knight, leaning more into moral conflict and psychological tension. Heath Ledger's legacy deserves its own chapter. His Joker isn't just a villain, he's an archetype of destruction, a force that tests morality itself. Ledger didn't play the Joker, he became him. Every twitch, every look, every twisted laugh followed a disturbing inner logic. He's not insane, he simply refuses to believe in order.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
After Ledger's death, his Joker became more than just a role. He became a symbol, proof that even chaos, when done with purpose, can be a form of art. The Dark Knight is a movie about choices. Every scene makes you ask yourself one question: what would I do? Strip away the costumes and masks, and what's left is a story about a man trying to stay good in a world where goodness feels like a luxury. The film doesn't hand out answers. It holds up a mirror instead, and in that mirror, everyone sees something different. Some see a hero, some see a victim, and some see the Joker. Nolan doesn't build a myth about victory. He builds a myth about the struggle itself, about how ideals can survive even after the person who carried them is gone. Can you fight evil without becoming part of it? Can you keep your faith when the whole world falls apart? Can you be a hero in a society that doesn't want heroes to exist? The Dark Knight isn't just a movie. It's a modern tragedy, the story of a man who tried to save his city and lost himself in the process. You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Batman isn't a savior. He's a mirror held up to humanity. He reminds us that darkness lives inside everyone, and only by facing it can we hope to overcome it. Before this film, superhero movies followed a simple formula: clear lines between good and evil, colorful costumes, and a guaranteed happy ending. But in 2008, Nolan shattered those rules. He showed that a comic book story could be grown up. After The Dark Knight, audiences no longer wanted easy tales of saving the world. They wanted the truth, dark, morally complex, but real.
Who did you leave him with? You let 5 people die.
Right after its release, Hollywood entered what critics called the era of serious superheroes. Marvel started adding deeper moral conflicts in Iron Man 2 and The Avengers. DC launched Man of Steel with the same grounded tone. Even indie studios began telling more human stories, like Zack Snyder's Watchmen and Logan, the final chapter of Wolverine's journey. Nolan's film proved something simple yet revolutionary. People don't connect to heroes because they're perfect. They connect because they hurt. Since the movie's release, psychologists and philosophers have analyzed the Joker countless times. He doesn't fit into any traditional villain archetype. He doesn't want power, so he's not a tyrant. He doesn't care about money, so he's not a criminal in the usual sense. He doesn't seek revenge, so he's not a tragic anti-hero either. The Joker is pure destruction, a virus that infects the system and makes it destroy itself from within.
You know what I am? I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I caught it.
That's his power, unpredictability. You can't defeat what you can't predict. Psychologists often compare him to the concept of the shadow in Jungian theory, the part of ourselves that society tries to suppress. But when that shadow comes out, a person becomes both free and terrifying. The Joker is the shadow not just of Batman, but of all Gotham, a reflection of the city's collective madness and hypocrisy. The Dark Knight isn't just a thriller, it's a study of moral relativism. In every conflict, there's no single right answer. Batman breaks the law in the name of justice. The Joker destroys order in the name of truth. Harvey punishes the guilty but becomes a killer himself. Nolan puts the audience in the philosopher's chair, forcing us to choose safety or freedom, law or conscience.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, unethical, dangerous. Turn every cell phone in Gotham into a microphone.
The surveillance system scene is a clear nod to post-9/11 America, a time when the government began watching its own citizens in the name of protection. Nolan doesn't justify or condemn it, he simply shows the cost. The message is clear. Any hero with too much power is always one step away from becoming the very thing they're fighting against. Fire and darkness, two visual elements that constantly repeat throughout the film. Fire represents destruction, but also purification. Darkness is a refuge, but also a trap. In almost every frame, Nolan carefully balances between the two. Then there's glass and reflection. In nearly every key scene between Batman and the Joker, there's glass separating them. In the interrogation room, in the skyscraper, even in symbolic reflections. It's a barrier dividing order and chaos, and at the same time a mirror showing how similar these two men really are. And then there's the music, used as a psychological weapon. Hans Zimmer doesn't write melodies here, he builds sound textures. That sharp, screeching note isn't music at all, it's pure tension. It makes the audience feel uneasy on a subconscious level, long before they realize why.
I just want her to know that I don't care about the scars. Now I'm always smiling.
The Dark Knight became the first superhero film to cross the $1 billion mark and win over critics at the same time. Its IMDb rating still sits in the top 5 movies of all time. Many film scholars believe that because The Dark Knight wasn't nominated for Best Picture, the Academy actually changed its rules, expanding the category to include more nominees. The backlash was that huge. Since 2008, hundreds of directors have cited Nolan's film as a key influence. Sam Mendes, while making Skyfall, mirrored its structure with a moral-driven villain. Matt Reeves said, "Without Nolan, my Batman wouldn't exist." James Mangold admitted that Logan was possible only because Nolan proved a superhero story could be a tragedy. The Dark Knight didn't just change superhero movies, it redefined what cinema could be. Many viewers see the ending as a victory for good. Batman saves Gotham, the Joker is locked away, order is restored, but Nolan leaves us with an uneasy feeling. True chaos was never destroyed. It just changed its shape. Gotham chooses to believe a lie, the legend of Harvey Dent. People sleep peacefully only because they don't know the truth. And that's exactly the Joker's victory. He proved that truth is too dangerous for society to handle.
Set the dogs on me. Because that's what needs to happen.
The movie doesn't end with catharsis. It ends with a cynical compromise. Batman wins the battle, but loses the war for the city's soul. It's been over 17 years, and The Dark Knight still hasn't aged a day. Why? Because its themes are universal: fear, power, morality, choice, lies, and faith. Every generation sees something different in it. For some, it's a political statement. For others, a philosophical parable, and for many, it's simply the story of a man who tried to save the world and couldn't. The film doesn't preach or moralize, it just asks one eternal question: how much darkness are we willing to accept to keep the light alive?